everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and today I have a layout to share for Simple Stories. I'm using the What's Cooking collection, which is a really pretty collection actually, and it's all about recipes. Now I assume it has a bit of a nod to Thanksgiving. We don't have Thanksgiving here in the UK, so we don't have that traditional gathering of people around November time, but I still do a lot of cooking and I do a lot of baking, so I had an idea to scrapbook a photo of these waffles that my daughter and I made because she got a waffle maker for her birthday. I'm sorry my screen is flashing. I've got some technical issues. I'm trying to get them sorted, but there's not a lot I can do about it, unfortunately. I'm hoping it stops in a minute. Right, okay, so I'm using the What's Cooking collection. It's very pretty. I've chosen the pink floral paper, which is on a pink grid background when it's got lovely little floral clusters all over it, and I've trimmed that down, and then I have mounted it, or I'm going to mount it onto a piece of the dark pink crosshatch paper. Lovely patterns in this collection, really very pretty colours and very pretty florals. And just lots of lovely things, really. I'm sure I tend not to scrap about what I cook. I don't enjoy cooking, but so I tend not to do much scrapbooking about that. Eating out, that's good, although I probably can't take credit for the food that I eat out. So anyway, it was quite nice to do something different because I don't normally do that. And there's a recipe collection of recipe cards in this collection, which is really awesome, and it does inspire me to make a recipe book. Not written by me, but you know what I mean, of the recipes that I always use. Anyway, going back to the layout itself, I've got those two layers to begin with, and then I loved that stripy paper. I chopped myself off a piece about 4 inches, maybe 5, and then I cut in between all of the stripes, and that had a really dark brown stripe in it, which I wasn't overly keen on using because my layout was a bit light. The background was quite light, so I decided to cut out those dark stripes, and then I was left with layers of of lighter stripes. I also have cut in between each one and snipped the ends into a banner shape or V shape, inverted V shape, not quite sure what you call that. Because the reason I did that was because it reminded me of the frills of an apron, and then I've put the tape along the top, which is just a strip of green crosshatch pattern paper, which is also what I've mounted my photo onto, and I'm going to add some machine stitching along there as well. It gives it all a very homemade kind of feel. I don't know if anyone else will pick up on the fact that potentially that's the frills of an apron. Probably not. However, that was where my mind was, and it all kind of makes sense when I look at the layout, so I'm happy with that. Right, I've just skipped forward slightly. I've done a little bit of machine stitching. I don't machine stitch on camera because it's too hard to move my sewing machine and my camera setup. So I've just done that off camera. I've done zigzag stitch along the strip at the top of the tabs, and I've done a little bit on that fold down at the very top left corner as well. I've just put some zigzag stitching along there as well, both white thread. Nothing too challenging. I do love my sewing machine. It's so easy, isn't it, to apply stitching. And now I'm just going to get on with sorting out the rest of my layout, really. So I've got my photo. I've got one photo. It's unusual for me to have no, not unusual for me to have one photo, but unusual for me to have a large photo, and it's also unusual for me to have a square photo. But I had some background on this photo that wasn't really working, so I just trimmed it down. I actually did it digitally and cropped out the noisy background, and then I've cropped it to a square shape and printed it with borders, and then I have a lovely little square photo. So it's not a shape I often use, so it's nice sometimes to do something different and to go out of my comfort zone a little bit. It's just that I know, most photos are taken in portrait mode for me, and therefore I print them as they originally are rather than crop them to squares. So anyway, yeah, it's just a little bit different. So anyway, one large photo over on the right hand side, that's sitting along that line, and I'm now just building up embellishment clusters either side. So I've got a large layered sticker, circle layer sticker to the left of my photo, which is going to also serve as my title. It says Family Home Kitchen Food. And then over on the right, I'm pulling out all the little bits and pieces from the collection that work for this photo. So I've got a pot of utensils, I've got a mixing bowl with a whisk, I've got cupcake liners, although these are not cupcakes, but I do make cupcakes, so therefore it makes sense. Over on the other side, I've got an apron, I've got a mixer, and then I've also pulled out 2 little chipboard bags of flour. I thought they were really cute. One's a bag of flour and one's a bag of sugar. So perfect, because obviously both of those are in these waffles that we made. Yeah, looking good. I love all the quirky stuff in the collection. It's really cute. So if I was to scrapbook more about the food that I make, or the things that I bake, then this would be the collection to use. I do tend to scrap people more than anything else, but it is nice to do something different. And the recipe cards are adorable, and really, I may well be inspired to make a little book with lots of recipes in, or the ones that I do all the time, because my recipe cupboard is a right mess, so I should probably sort that out. Right, so back to the layout. I am putting in some phrase stickers from the 12 by 12 sticker sheet at the top there. I normally just dress the edges and raise them on foam pads, and I'm doing that this time as well. I just wanted a small feature at the top. I had initially thought that I would have some florals coming out of that little fold down at the top there, but with the busy background floral paper, it was a bit too busy, and it didn't quite look right. So I have just gone really, really basic, gone for solid colours. So the solid colours of phrase stickers, and then 3 little hearts as well. By the way, in my end photos, one of those hearts is missing. It's because somehow it fell off on the way downstairs to take photographs. It's back on the layout now, and it's back in the set photo as well, but it's not on the close-ups or the square photo front on. So just in case you noticed, it was like spot the difference. Anyway, yeah, so I've got those little bits at the top left there. I'm just adding some more hearts down the bottom. I've added some, have I added them yet? Decorative brads, maybe not. I'm going to come in with those in a moment. Just putting the little hearts. They're from the ephemera. They're lovely, and they show up well against my stripes because they have a white border around them. So I'm just adding those. They're, I say, all ephemera, and I'm just raising those on foam pads. Here are those beautiful decorative brads. They are gorgeous, and again, I love how themed they are. They're just lovely. I've just got some gingham and some stripes, fine. But over on the left-hand side, it's the dial of weighing scales. How cool is that? Brilliant. Adding in some enamel dots as well, because everyone needs enamel dots, right? Every layout needs enamel dots. So I'm just adding a few of those. There's that pink one going at the top there. Yeah, just pretty much done, I think. I just need to write in a little bit of journaling about the waffle maker. Actually, I wonder if I could set my daughter off making some waffles today. That sounds like a very good idea. Okay, so yeah, just handwriting in some journaling and putting a date above the photo as well, and then I'm just going to finish off with a few splatters of white paint. So just got my white acrylic paint there, and I'm just splattering that on with a paintbrush. And there we go. That is me finished, and I hope it has inspired you to use the What's Cooking collection, especially if you are UK and you don't naturally go towards Thanksgiving collections. This is a super pretty, lovely colours, lovely prints, lovely florals, and lots of cooking and baking rather than being overly Thanksgiving. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Check it out. Thank you so much for joining me today. That was Nikki Rowland for Simple Stories using What's Cooking.